Hey friends, this is Abby, and I am committed to providing you with doses of motivation and positivity through 90 seconds in the Word. Listen, if you see a suitcase in the background, I am about to go traveling, but I wanted to get a word in before I left. And even when I'm away, I'm going to find a way to get a word to you. Our verse of today comes from Matthew 17:20. Um, and it goes, and he said, because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, some versions say like the grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. We're following up on faith, and we're starting to get into a rhythm where we're not just believing God for things to move or to shift or to be transformed. We're believing Him for the impossible. We're believing for mountains to be moved. We're believing that we can tap into the power of the Holy Spirit that He puts in us, that we will be able to not only have a heart of faith, that we will be able to use words of faith to start moving things around. I want you to look at that list that I've told you over and over to make sure that you have together. I want you to reflect on all of the verses that we've talked about so far. And I want you to start speaking with words of faith. I want you to start speaking to those mountains and telling those mountains to move, because God can do it. So we don't want to end up being left behind or still having blockage because of our little faith. Now, there's two ways to look at it, because in the same verse, he says, you couldn't do this thing because of your little faith. And then he turns around and says, well, as long as you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And at first glance, it might be like, well, that's kind of contradictory. Actually, no. Because have you ever seen a mustard tree? When it's fully grown, the size of the seed may look very tiny, but what it grows into and blossoms into is humongous, and it's huge. So what we want to make sure is that the thing that we're holding on to is the thing that has the greatest power and the thing that's going to be able to grow. And that's faith in God. So let's continue to walk in faith. And starting today, we're going to start speaking words of faith. Well, what do you mean, Abby? God, I thank you in advance for opening up the doors for me. I thank you in advance that my days of unemployment are over. God, I praise your name that my marriage is being restored. I had no idea how it was going to happen, but I know that you did it. I praise your name that my spouse is moving back home. God, I thank you in advance, and I surrender to you that the next time I go to the doctor, that I'm going to get a clean report, that they're going to say a mistake was made, that they're going to look at the x-rays, they're going to look at the scans, and the tumor is gone. That I'm going to hear a knock on the door, God, and my child would have come home. I'm going to turn around, and the chaos that was going on at my job, all of a sudden, the way is clear for me. Let's start speaking words of faith to the things that we're believing God for. The mountain, we're going to tell it to move, and we're going to believe that it's going to move. All right, stay encouraged, friends, and I'll talk to you soon. Say a prayer for me for safe traveling mercies. Take care.